This is a quick presentation to the City of New York, and it's to help them refine their library items. And one of the issues that I've been keenly aware of is that some of their symbols are not appropriately sized. So they have their symbol library, and they drop in a symbol, and this is a little bit too big for what they're going to be using it for. And I need to demonstrate exactly how they can communicate what size they want it to be. Now, there's a couple things that they can do automatically. And actually, hang on one second. We'll go to Images. They can actually see the size of it. Now, this is in feet. What they probably need to do is switch over to a metric system and set this to actually 100. And now when they select an item, it's going to show this is in the pixel size. So it's 100 pixels by 100 pixels. Now they could actually resize it and set it, and they can do that in a number of ways. One way is to go to Properties, reselect the item. You'll see that the dot is highlighted here. Let me make that a bit bigger so you can see it clearer. Okay, so this is actually a PNG image. So it's an image file. It's not a line and text. It's an image of a line and text that I captured. And that makes it a lot easier to work with for a lot of things, actually. So what they can do is they can send the resize button on, and you'll notice there's a green dot. And now they can physically resize it to the size that they want. And they can see the exact size of that by selecting it, and they'll see the value. So that's 68 pixels by 68 pixels. And you'll notice it's square. Now what they can also do is you can actually change these, 35, and go to the second one, change that to 35, and hit Update Image. And that's the actual size as well. So if they selected it, they'll see it's 35 pixels by 35 pixels. That's the same size, let's go to this, that most of their images of their numbers are as well. So you see that that's actually 30 pixels by 30 pixels. And again, they could actually specify that they want those to be a tad bigger. I'll go up here. And they can play with this, print it out, and come to some decisions on that. And say, for example, they want all their icons to be this size, or their numbers to be this size, etc. Now, another thing that I'd like to bring to their attention is, if you look at this particular form, this was created using actual vectors. And so this is actual text that's up here. It's not the text that they can modify themselves, but it's typed in. In some of my other examples that I'm working with now, I've discovered that there's enough power within the iPad itself that you can actually use images, and this will give them, oh, there we go, always love it when that happens. You can use images associated with that, and that'll give them exactly the way their form looks. So what they can do is they can have IT send me a PDF file, and I can take an image of it and use that, and then lay the text out on top of it. And on the iPad Air, and hopefully the iPad Air 2, they're going to have enough performance to where it's not a problem. On earlier versions of the iPad, however, this wasn't working very well because the ability to zoom and to pan around the document was way too slow. So there's a trade-off that's associated with these using images as opposed to actually using vectors. Vectors are a lot faster, but it takes a lot of effort to actually type this in. I literally had to put in every single one of these lines manually. So there's a lot of work associated with that. And then I had to create all of their images, since the images they provided were wholly inadequate. So again, just to recap, probably the number one thing that they're going to want to do is actually go, oops, that's the wrong set of symbols. Go to their symbols and decide what size these symbols they want them to be on their drawings. They can actually see the image size by going to Images and selecting that item. Again, they'll want to switch, this is their default thing. They'll want to switch it to meters. And now they'll see it's 30 pixels by 30 pixels. They can go through each one of these images and decide what size they actually want it to be. And then they can decide if they want to actually send me the PDF version unfilled out of one of their drawings, and see if they want to have this switched over so where it's just text on top of the PDF, and if that performs adequately. And that's what I would like them to do in consideration and going forward. In addition, another item that I think that they should consider is having the squares associated with their sidewalk kind of created as part of their library, so they can just drop those in. And I think in several of my other demonstrations I showed that you could actually build sidewalk diagrams a lot faster using that technique. And that's my presentation. Thank you very much. Bye.